Imagine eating your favorite food, let's say a hot plate of jollof rice or a burger or some fresh food. Now within minutes your body begins an amazing process. Like breaking down that food, absorbing nutrients and turning it into energy. Wow, this invisible journey is the work of the digestive system. It's one of the most fascinating systems in the body. And today we will explore it step by step. Right, let's start by defining what the digestive system is all about. Now, the digestive system is a group of organs working together to break down food, absorb nutrients, and also eliminate waste. And for it to achieve this, it performs these key very functions. Number one, ingestion. Ingestion here is the process by which food enters into the mouth. Right now, the moment food enters the mouth, the next stage is propulsion. So the food has been dropped into the mouth undergo what we call swallowing and peristalsis. Now, swallowing involves a lot of stages, about 3 stages. In one of the videos, we are going to talk about that in details. Peristalsis here has to do with the movement, the contraction and relaxation of the muscular walls of the digestive tract to ensure that food moves from one point to the other. That's why when you put something in your mouth, from the mouth it moves to the next stage until it gets to your stomach. Then from there it proceeds further. Then the third function, which is one of the activities of the digestive system, is mechanical digestion. Now, mechanical digestion here is chewing by the action of the teeth and, of course, the stomach churning. This is that movement of the stomach. It's like a grinding process. So what we eat, the stomach churn it and ensure that it further breaks it down to a smaller form. And also have the segmentation in small intestine. And segmentation here has to do with separation of what we eat or further processes. Now, number four, which is one of the process of digestion or function, is chemical digestion. Now, the chemical digestion here involves the use of enzymes and acid to break food into smaller molecules. In other words, you can say the hydrolysis of food substances into its simplest form. Now, the action of chemical digestion makes what we eat to be in a form that can easily be absorbed into the body, bloodstream, for instance. Now, we have carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is a complex substance, so it has to undergo chemical digestion to form a simple sugar or glucose. Now, the same with protein. Protein also has to undergo digestion, especially the chemical digestion, to form its monomer, the simplest form, called amino acid. Fat will undergo the same process to form fatty acid and glycerol. So carbohydrate is in the complex form, protein is also in the complex form, fat is also in a complex form. Now you can see that they have to undergo digestion to attain its simplest form. And this is what the digestive tract can absorb into the bloodstream, right? Now the next function or activities of the digestive system, which is absorption. Now here the nutrients, either in form of glucose, simple sugar, or amino acid, or fatty acid, or glycerol, will be absorbed into the blood or lymph, mostly in the small intestine. Now, when these are absorbed, it's not everything that we eat that will absorb into the bloodstream. Now, some of the indigestible materials and some of the substances that were not absorbed into the bloodstream will be eliminated. That now takes us to the sixth activities, process, or function. Now, this process called defecation We say the elimination of indigestible substances, and this is basically done in the large intestine, which we are going to look at very shortly. Now, the digestive system is divided into two parts. We have the alimentary canal, which is also called the GI tract, that is gastrointestinal tract. This is a tube that continues from the mouth and ends at the anus. And it is where food passes through. So from the mouth, food enters into the mouth, passes through the different part of the GI tract or the alimentary canal till it undergoes the necessary process to the exit point. So if you look at the alimentary canal or the GI tract, it has two openings. The first opening is the mouth, at the level of the mouth. Then the second opening is the anus. All right. Now, the accessory organs, these are organs that support digestion with either enzymes, with bile, or other secretions. So the accessory organs, they assist. That is why they are called accessory. They assist in the process of breaking down and, of course, by releasing enzymes, bile, or other secretion to enhance the process of digestion so that whatever we eat, whatever food substances that is in the digestive tract can easily be absorbed into the bloodstream. So if you look at the digestive system, it's like a factory line and each part has a specific role. All right. Now, let's look at the anatomy of the alimentary canal or the GI tract as we call it. The GI tract or the alimentary canal is made up of the following part. We have the mouth, we have the pharynx, we have the esophagus, we have the small intestine and the large intestine. Now the accessory organs are made up of the liver, the gallbladder, the pancreas, the salivary gland, and sometimes we include the tongue and the teeth as part of the accessory organs, even though they are found in the oral cavity or in the mouth. Okay, now let's deal with them one after the other. Now, the anatomy of the alimentary canal include the mouth. The mouth is also called the oral cavity. Now, in the oral cavity, we have the teeth, the tongue, and the salivary gland. Now, the teeth, their basic function is chewing or mastication. So, they break down complex food substances into smaller form, right? Now, this is different from the chemical digestion where we said it will hydrolyze the food substances into its simplest form. What we are looking at here is more of its mechanical. No matter how the teeth chew or masticate food, it will not attain to the level where it will be absorbed into the bloodstream. So let's have this at the back of our mind. Now, the second organ found in the mouth is the tongue. The tongue basically moves food and forms what we call the bolus and also helps in the process of swallowing. As you are eating, you discover that you move your food from one part of the mouth to the other. These are actually aided by the actions of the tongue. They also have the salivary or the saliva, which are secreted by the salivary gland. Now, the saliva moistens our food and it contains enzymes such as amylase. As the enzymes amylase start carbohydrate digestion. Now this is why you might have heard that the digestion of carbohydrates starts in the mouth. The reason is because of the action of amylase. And number two, we have the pharynx and esophagus. The pharynx and esophagus are actually passageway. Alright? Now the pharynx receives food from the mouth. Then it now passes it on to the esophagus. The esophagus is muscular. Okay? The process of peristalsis that we saw earlier on begins at the level of the esophagus. Then peristaltic wave like contraction will help in the pushing of food towards the stomach. Remember I said earlier on that peristalsis here has to do with the contraction and relaxation of the walls of the muscular walls of the digestive tract so that food will move from one point to the other. Now we also have the stomach. The stomach is a dilated portion of the digestive tract. It is J-shaped and it has four regions. And these four regions are the cardiac region, the fundus, the body, and the pylorus. Now, it also has two curvatures, the smaller and lesser curvature, and it is also controlled by two sphincters, which are the lower esophageal sphincter, or sometimes called the cardiac sphincter, and the pylorus sphincter. Now, the lower esophageal sphincter prevents reflux of gastric content back into the esophagus, while the pylorus sphincter controls or regulates the release of substances, that is gastric content, into the duodenum. Now, the functions of the stomach include secretion of gastric juice, which include HCl and enzymes. The protein digestion also begins here. Why? Because in the stomach we have what we call pepsin. Pepsin is the active form of pepsinogen. Alright? Now what we have is pepsinogen, which will be converted to pepsin by the action of HCl. Now, by the time pepsinogen has been converted to pepsin, it now begins the process of digestion of protein. Then the third function is it churns food. The stomach has the ability to churn food to form what is called chyme. Alright. Now also have the small intestine. The small intestine continues from the stomach at the pylorus sphincter. Now it has a length of about 6 meters, between above 5 to 6 meters long, and it has a diameter of about 2 centimeters. And this is a site for nutrient absorption. So whatever we eat, whatever that is needed by the body is being absorbed in the small intestine. Now the small intestine has three parts. The first part, which continues from the stomach at the level of the pylorus sphincter, is called the duodenum. And you see that it curves around the head of the pancreas. Okay? Now the second part is called jejunum. Jejunum continues from the duodenum. Then the third part is the ileum. The ileum is the terminal portion. of the small intestine. All right. Now, the small intestine are lined or is lined by villi and microvilli. Now, the villi and microvilli actually increase the surface area for absorption. The villi and the microvilli, they form part of what we call the mucosal layer of the small intestine, and this help in the absorption of nutrients into the bloodstream. Now, enzymes from pancreas and bile from liver also assist digestion in the small intestine. Now, there's a dot called the hepatopancreatic dot or ampulla of Vater. This is a dot that receives bile from the liver and receive pancreatic juice from the pancreas. Now, when these get into the small intestine, they assist in the process of digestion. Now, the last part of the gastrointestinal tract or alimentary canal is the large intestine. Now, the large intestine is called large intestine compared to the small intestine because the lumen of the large intestine is larger compared to that of the small intestine. All right. Now, it has a length of about 1.5 meters and diameter of about 6 centimeter. Now, it has the following part. The first part of the large intestine is called the cecum, followed by the colon. The colon include the ascending colon, the transverse colon, the descending colon, the sigmoid colon. Then we now have the rectum and the anus. Now, this part of the digestive tract or GI tract perform the following function. One, they absorb water and electrolyte. But remember we said most absorption of nutrient takes place in the small intestine. The large intestine also absorb substances such as water and electrolyte. It houses gut microbiota. Now these are what you call these microorganisms that are in that colonize the large intestine. They benefit from the large intestine, what the content of the large intestine, but they don't cause harm to the body. Alright? Now, their actions actually is somehow beneficial to the body. So they feed from the human body and also provide a little benefit to the body. Now, the large intestine also forms and eliminates feces. So feces that leaves the body through the process of defecation is actually um, carried out by the large intestine. Now, the accessory organs, as we mentioned earlier on, we said they include the salivary gland, the gallbladder, the pancreas, right? Now, the salivary gland, they secrete saliva and the amylase. We have extrinsic and intrinsic salivary gland. Now, the extrinsic salivary gland are the appeared. You find them by the side of the face. While the intrinsic salivary gland, they are numerous and they are found in the structures of the oral cavity. I also have the liver. The liver happens to be the largest gland in the body and it produces bile which emulsifies fat. Now the liver itself performs several functions. And one of the functions is Metabolism. So the metabolism of carbohydrate, proteins, and fat are done in the liver. Okay, but since we are talking about digestion for now, we focus on what it secretes that aids in the process of breaking down large food substances into smaller ones. And this is the production of bile, which emulsifies fat. Then we have the gallbladder. The gallbladder stores and releases bile into the duodenum. So when these bile are produced by the liver, they will be stored in the gallbladder. When there is a need for the release of bile into the small intestine, there will be contraction of the gallbladder, then to be released into the small intestine. Then we have the pancreas. The pancreas performs dual role. It acts as an exocrine gland and also acts as an endocrine gland. So the exocrine function of the pancreas is that they secrete enzymes. They secrete what we call the pancreatic juice, which include enzymes such as amylase, lipase, and proteases. Now, all these enzymes they aid in the breakdown of food substances. For instance, amylase breaks down carbohydrate, the lipase, lipids or fat, protease. The protease help the digest protein. Now, the endocrine functions of the pancreas is the secretion of insulin and glucagon. Now, these two hormones helps in the regulation of the blood sugar. So the pancreas has what we call specialized cells, isolates of Langerhans cells. These cells are the ones that are responsible for the secretion of these two hormones. Now, before we wrap it, let's look at the basic layers of the digestive tract. The digestive tract or the gastrointestinal tract, also called the alimentary canal, is made up of four basic layers. From inside to outside, inner to outer, we have the mucosa, the submucosa, the muscularis layer or external, the serosa or adventitia. The type of epithelial tissue found in the mucosa layer is either simple columnar epithelium or the stratified squamous epithelium. The simple columnar epithelium are actually found in a region where it is not subject to wears and tears. Alright? But any part of the digestive tract that is subject to wears and tears are lined by the stratified squamous epithelium. For instance, the mouth, the pharynx, the upper part of the esophagus are lined by the stratified squamous epithelium. The anus is also subject to wears and tears, so it's also lined by stratified squamous epithelium. However, the remaining part of the digestive tract are lined by the columnar cells. Then we have the submucosa. The submucosa, as the name implies, lies underneath the mucosa. Now, here, this layer is made of loose connective tissues. Alright? Now, within this loose connective tissue, you find blood vessels. You also find nerve plexus. And nerve plexus found here is called submucosal plexus. Alright? Then I have the muscularis externa. The muscularis externa is actually made of smooth muscles. And basically, we have two layers of muscles here. We have the inner circular muscle and also have the outer longitudinal. Also, here you find blood vessels, nerve plexus, lymph vessels. The outermost layer It's called the serosa or adventitia. Now, adventitia is found in area that is outside the covering of the peritoneum, while the viscerals that are covered by the peritoneum, their outer layer is referred to as serosa. Now, they gives a protective covering to the digestive tract. Before we wrap it, we look at what digestive system is. Wherever we also look at the functions of the digestive system. We look at the two division of the digestive system, which you said they are the digestive tract or the GI tract or the alimentary canal and the accessory organs. And we're able to look at the different part of the digestive tract or alimentary canal. Okay, they'll also look at the accessory organs, which we mentioned that they include the salivary gland, the liver, the gallbladder, the pancreas. They'll also wrap it up by looking at the basic layers of the digestive tract or the GI tract or the alimentary canal. We can see here that there are four basic layers of tissue. Even though we have four basic layers of tissue, there is always a modification from different part of the digestive tract. Take our time, find out what is unique about each of the digestive tract that is not found in the next one. All right. Thank you very much for staying tuned to this moment. If you are still with us, I'd like you to subscribe to this channel if you have not done so. Like this channel, share it to your friends, tell them we're here for them. I want to make anatomy as easy as possible for you. Anytime, any day, you can come back to this channel, listen to this again and again to enhance your learning. Enjoy.